Reckless driving reportedly led to St. George motorcycle crash. St. George police honor fallen officers. And your daily weather forecast with highs, lows, and everything you need to know for the days ahead.
You're watching St. George News at 5, brought to you by our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law.
Good afternoon, I'm Monica McLaughlin. A motorcyclist was hospitalized Sunday after reportedly losing control on Valley View Drive and crashing into rocks. For more on what police say may have caused the crash, here's Nick Fiala.
One cyclist was transported to St. George Regional Hospital Sunday afternoon after losing control of his motorcycle on Valley View Drive. St. George Police Sergeant Brian Hendricks said the cyclist will likely receive a citation for reckless driving.
One of the friends of the rider was saying that he was coming up, northbound on Valley View, and started to get what's kind of commonly called the death wobble. Started wobbling the handlebars, and he went up the driveway here, up onto the sidewalk, and at which point it struck the rocks and then went down. The rider was ejected at some point in there and had major trauma to his face. He was transported to the hospital. Well, he probably will receive a citation for reckless and a couple other unrelated traffic charges. Even his friend was saying he was probably doing about 55. Then he kind of changed it to doing somewhere in the 60s. Looking at the marks and everything, obviously we don't know exactly how fast he's going, but he was definitely going well over the speed limit.
Hendricks said the sight of motorcycles speeding up and down Valley View Drive is not uncommon.
We had a couple of neighbors here that reported that motorcycles have been racing or speeding along this road the last few weeks. And they indicated that this one, they've seen it for the last week or so, speeding up and down Valley View as well. It does seem to be an issue. Sometimes it gets reported, sometimes not. It kind of comes and goes. It ebbs and flows.
The St. George Fire Department also assisted at the scene.
Thanks, Nick. Law enforcement officers and the public gathered Wednesday evening in St. George to honor fallen police officers from across southern Utah. For more on the emotional ceremony and the names remembered, here's Maury Kessler.
The names of fallen police officers, primarily from southern Utah, were highlighted last Wednesday during a special law enforcement memorial service held at the Tech Ridge Pavilion in St. George. Lieutenant Aaron Bergquist told St. George News the service is the first of its kind organized by the St. George Police Department and shared what he hopes people take from it.
We're holding a candlelight vigil for a service to honor specifically the Utah fallen here in southern Utah. I think it's important to take a minute and reflect on those that have given the ultimate sacrifice. Our officers that have fallen here in Utah will be added to the Salt Lake Memorial Law Enforcement Wall, as well as the National Law Enforcement Memorial Wall back in Washington, D.C. I think it's important to realize that they gave all, and we appreciate that. I'm hoping that we get a moment to reflect and to honor that sacrifice, and that we can go away understanding the value of public safety and the value of having these type of people in our communities to keep law and order and to keep that line of chaos and disorder away from our day-to-day lives.
4 officers from across southern Utah, including St. George police officer Adam Ashworth, who died in 2021, were read during the service along with the name of an officer from the Sannikin Police Department who was killed last year. Washington County Sheriff's Lieutenant Ivor Fuller shared what it was like for him to hear Ashworth's name mentioned, as the two worked together during Fuller's time with the St. George Police Department.
Yeah, it's an emotional moment. He's a friend, someone that was well respected, who gave that sacrifice, and I know that we all not only think of him often, but it's hard to not have a moment like this and hear his hear his name read, and to see his face and hear his voice as it relates to that through the many years that we've spent with him, and not get emotional. It was definitely a very honorable moment.
Bergquist said the police department plans to make the memorial service and vigil an annual event moving forward.
Thanks, Maury. Let's take a look at your daily weather forecast, brought to you by Casablanca Resort and Casino. In St. George, it's currently 80 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Tonight, expect clear conditions with a low around 54. And tomorrow will be warmer, reaching a high of 87 and a low of 60. Over in Mesquite, it's 85 degrees and sunny. Clear skies are expected tonight with a low near 62 degrees. Tuesday brings plenty of sunshine with a high of 92 and a low of 67. In Cedar City, it's a cooler 58 degrees with mostly sunny conditions. A freeze warning is in effect tonight, with temperatures dropping to around 38 degrees. Tomorrow will be sunny and warmer with a high of 73 and a low of 46. Crimson Cliffs takes the 4A baseball crown with a 7-4 win over Snow Canyon, capping off a championship sweep at Bruce Hurst Field. For more, we'll go to Aaron Crane for your local sports update.
Thanks, Monica. This past week in sports, Crimson Cliffs is once again the 4A state baseball champion, topping Snow Canyon 7-4 in Saturday's title game at Bruce Hurst Field. Junior pitcher Riker Taylor threw 5 solid innings, while Cutter Christensen drove in 4 runs to help the Mustangs secure the sweep. Snow Canyon battled back late but couldn't overcome the 7-0 deficit, marking their 3rd championship loss to Crimson Cliffs in the past 5 years. Both teams end their season with identical 23-8 records and a share of 2nd place in Region 9. Now back to you, Monica.
Thanks, Aaron. The city of St. George is kicking off summer with a celebration at the city pool, which is turning 50 years old. To mark the occasion, the city is offering free admission and hot dogs on Tuesday, May 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. while supplies last. The anniversary comes with a fresh look for the pool, including a new deck, improved access, and a boosted sound system. Mayor Michelle Randall says the pool has been part of generations of summer memories, and city officials hope the evening brings the community together for a fun and nostalgic celebration. The Crystal Festival returns to Hurricane May 31st and June 1st with free admission, hands-on activities, and a special youth entrepreneur market. Here's Jesse Bang for more on this gem-packed weekend.
The 3rd annual Crystal Festival returns to Hurricane on May 31st and June 1st, bringing a rock, mineral, gem, and crystal show to the Grafton Building. The festival is completely free for all attendees, and founder Adrian McElwain said it's all about education and sharing a love for rocks and minerals. Whether it's kids showing off rock collections or adults curious about wire wrapping or crystal healing, the festival offers something for everyone. McElwain started the festival in northern Utah in 2010 and has since hosted more than 45 shows across the country. This year's show adds a new twist with the Children's Entrepreneur Marketplace, an outdoor market spotlighting businesses run by kids ages 5 to 17.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. To learn more about our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law, go to wewininjurylaw.com. I'm Monica McLaughlin with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5, brought to you by We Win Injury Law.